All right, welcome back, and good morning or good afternoon, I guess, depending on where you are in the world. Coming back to you for the second time today to talk to you about the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting. It's coming up really quickly. This time next week, we'll be in full swing. November 1st through 3rd in Austin, Texas, is when this thing is happening. So today, I wanted to give you a chance to meet one of our partners that's helping to make this event a reality. If you have no idea what I'm talking about at this point, if you've not heard about this before, what I am talking about is the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting, and it is the business conference for entrepreneur architects. In fact, it's the first ever live conference that's dedicated just to you, just to small firm entrepreneur architects. I started this live stream series back in August, I guess it was a couple of months ago now, to introduce you to our speakers and to preview their talks. And now, as I said, I'm bringing our partners into the mix. And these are the people that really make it possible for us to pull this conference off. So, good afternoon. If we've never met before, my name is Jeff Eccles. I'm the Vice President of Community Engagement at EntreArchitect. It's the largest worldwide community of entrepreneur architects. I'm also the host of Context and Clarity Live, where you may have also met many of our speakers for this event that's coming up. Today, I'm joined by C. Ray Harvey. He's a product specialist at Factor AE, and he's based just up the road from me. He's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So, C. Ray, first, thank you for partnering with EntreArchitect on the upcoming conference, and thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Happy to be here.
It's great to have you here. We've been talking backstage, as it were, before we went live, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation because I think um, there's a lot about what you're doing that I think is going to resonate with our community a lot when it comes to how they run the software side of their business. So I'm looking forward to getting into that piece of it. But as we know, a lot of what we do in your business and our business and a lot of businesses, relationships are the things that make the world move forward. So why don't we start the conversation with who are you, what do you do, and why do you do it?
Well, my name is C. Ray. I've been with Factor since we basically became a public application available to architects and engineers. It's a web-based platform. It allows you to create and manage your projects, break those down with your fee breakdowns into fixed fee, hourly, even non-billable phases, present those in many different ways then when it comes time to schedule your team members, to track budgets as they're logging time and expenses to those phases, and then present those many different ways through invoices as well to your clients. So our goal has been to be sort of a simpler, what makes sense and what you actually need sort of platform for handling everything from project management to scheduling to time entry to invoicing, of course, reporting on the back end, uh, but to still have depth in some of the areas where you can only get it so simple, like fee breakdowns. Not everybody has the benefit of being able to do a fee breakdown the same way for every client. I'd argue very few firms are so lucky. And when it comes to what an invoice needs to look like, how you need to include or not include your subconsultants in those fees, whether you're billing them fixed fee, hourly, all those things, where there's sort of necessary complexity in those things, we try to handle that gracefully. So yeah, simple where it can be, depth where it needs to be. That's kind of our motto, and yeah, and we're kind of the new kid on the block in terms of software out there to accomplish those tasks. Although our team has been working with architects and engineers for uh, quite a long time now. The software is sort of built on a solution that we had built previously. So we've been around the block. We've worked with a lot of consultants in the space, a lot of firms in the space, a lot of everybody from owners to office managers who are usually yelling loudest, I think, for the sort of solution that we are providing. So yeah, we've got a lot of background, even though Factor is kind of a new face here.
Yeah, and I think it's it's funny you say the office managers yelling the loudest. We may look at a solution like this and think, oh, that's not the sexiest thing to talk about or to have in the office. But I would argue that, hey, you know what? If you're not invoicing, right? If you're not paying attention to your cash flow, there are some big problems very down the line, but not very far down the line. So this is some important stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'd say it's not the sexiest thing, but uh, pardon me for saying so. Cash flow is sexy, and matters
It is
really to everybody in a firm, not just the owner.
right.
Um, I did a talk last week for a group of office managers, actually, around. The title was "Invoicing is Everybody's Job," and when you think about it, I mean, there's so much that goes into how you break down a contract, how that turns into a fee breakdown, and how much further you're going to bust those phases down into tasks and things that you're going to manage to really get a handle on how you're spending budget, how much you've invoiced for budget, where your sub consultants fit into the mix, and is your team really doing profitable work on the project. But at the end of the day, in a weird philosophical way, what brings value to all of that work besides what you can tangibly see maybe when drawings are created or construction starts? What brings dollar value to that is getting invoices out the door.
Exactly.
And too often, I think, yeah, put office managers in the spotlight here. The responsibility, or billing managers, the responsibility for getting those slips of paper in the mail or those emails sent with PDF invoices really falls to them, as though everybody in the firm didn't have something to do with that invoice going out the door
Right.
and getting it out the door in a way that's going to get it paid quickly. Because,
Yeah.
that, again, office managers are last in line, but somehow bear this weight of responsibility for that all
Oh,
going
sure.
smooth.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And if you extend that even a little bit further, many in our community know Zach Waters, who's the founder and CEO of Black Swan Risk Management. I love talking with Zach, oddly, about risk management. This is what you're talking about is a big part of risk management as well, right? If we're not invoicing in a timely manner on a regular basis, that's generating risk in our operation. So that's a really good point about in some offices, right, that have that role, it falls to them, but everybody plays a role. Now, I also know that a lot of people in our community are sole practitioners. They play all of those roles. Um, so I guess they don't have the benefit of uh, of taking the office manager or billing manager for granted.
Right.
What does factor? How does factor make their life easier?
Well, we have a pretty simple workflow, from creating projects and breaking your fees down. Use templates so that you can do that quickly, especially if you have 3 or 4 types of projects you do on a regular basis. Spinning those projects up is really fast, inputting budget values, and even assigning certain sub consultants to the project and breaking their fees down across phases is all fairly logical, straightforward. So even if you have really complex projects, you're a sole proprietor with some 1099 employees, or you're doing a lot of your work through your sub consultants. Um, it's all very transparent to you. Once the project's set up, you know, you might get limited mileage out of using our scheduling and our tasking tools, because you might come in every day and know exactly what you need to do that day. But they're there if you need them. You're tracking your time and your expenses as they go along. When your sub consultant invoices come in, you track those back to the projects. And ultimately, that all amounts to a very smooth, very quick invoicing process that, despite the speed and efficiency there, is no less detailed in the various ways that you can invoice clients. We let you set up highly customizable invoice templates, so customizable that the majority of our customers just come to us and say, "Hey, I need my invoice to look like this. Can you help me set it up?" And we do that, free of charge. That is just included in your subscription fee, customizing invoice templates. So yeah, so if you want 14 line items categorized a certain way. You don't want to show the sub-consultants. You just want to show lump sum percentage-based billing for your fixed fee phases. You want an hours report that lists every hour that you log to the project with a description and everything in between, or all of this, all of that on the same invoice. Whatever is going to get that invoice paid fastest is the way we'll help you get it there. So for a sole proprietor, you know the effort that it takes to invoice. You
Yeah, they
feel
do.
all of the pain of chasing down the project manager yourself to find out what percentage complete you are on those phases. You know all the pain of being asked as the person logging time, did you log your time? Do we actually know where we're at on the budget here? You know all the pain of generating that invoice in Word or Excel or whatever other system you're using right now. So it's really, really easy to see the benefit if you're the person wearing the 17 hats, as you
Yeah,
refer to it.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. The 17 hats of the entrepreneur that they're wearing. So I don't know if any of my students will watch this or are watching this, but the example that C. Ray just gave is exactly what we talked about in class yesterday. The difference between the way that you invoice and the way that you're tracking the hours on a project. You may not be reflecting every hour of your work, line by line, as you said, on the invoice. It may turn into a lump sum, but we've got to be tracking it on the backside as we try to manage these projects. So thank you for proving the point from class yesterday morning. That's great. And I also, when you're talking about all the different ways, because we know that if there's 10 firms out there, there's going to be probably 8 different ways of tracking and invoicing and fee structure and all of that. I love the fact that you're identifying those and building that flexibility into the platform.
Yeah. It's it's interesting when firms look at profitability, it seems like that's a sneakier and sneakier thing to really pinpoint the larger a firm you get. So, when I'm talking to a sole proprietor, even if they don't know the dollars and cents of how long it's taking them to identify their percentage complete or where they're at in their contracts with subs or how long it's taking them to generate an invoice, at least they're feeling the pain very
Yeah.
personally of the
Yeah.
time that it takes to do that. Once you get into a firm of 30 or 40 people, I think it gets lost sometimes how long these communication loops can burn potentially billable time. Not that communication is bad. Lots of communication around invoicing is good. It's the loops, I think, that kill us. It's the billing manager looks at what they can see in the system. They generate an invoice. They send it to the project manager. The project manager says, that's all wrong. Actually, it should be this, this, and this. That doesn't align at all to what's in the system. So the billing manager says, well, how do you know? And then they go to talk to the people that are supposed to be doing the work and they stop them and break their chain of thought and say, hey, did you get this done? Oh, you didn't have your time in. Okay, I guess we do need to. All of this can be solved if you actually kind of disperse the responsibility of getting that invoice out the door. And it starts with the simple things like, can we just get buy-in from ownership on down to the people logging time, that if you just log your time every day, the project manager knows where the project's at. If the project
Yeah.
managers just say once a week, here's where we're at percentage complete on these phases, by the time you get to invoicing, all the expenses are in, the time is in, percentage complete's been reported. Getting an invoice out the door is simple. And then if you add a system like Factor that can generate those invoices in 30 seconds and put all that fixed fee, all that hourly, all that expense billing in one clean format that is exactly what you agreed to with your clients, it makes invoicing a wow, I can't believe we got through those 60 invoices in a couple hours instead of, well, I guess we'll be doing this for the next 3 weeks and then it'll be almost invoicing time again, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's realistic for a lot of firms out there, the continual cycle of invoicing. When to help me understand how this works, if I'm using QuickBooks or FreshBooks or whatever my accounting software is, which are probably the 99% of what
Yeah,
people are using. Um, is this replacing QuickBooks or is this working with QuickBooks?
great question. So we are project management, time management, resource scheduling, invoicing, and reporting on your project fee breakdown,
Yep.
your project level accounting. We're not your chart of accounts or your general ledger. So we integrate
Got it.
directly with QuickBooks Online. In fact, we're one of the only systems that has a true real-time two-way communication with QuickBooks. So when you get through all those things I just listed that Factor handles, and you've drafted the invoice, somebody's reviewed it, you hit finalize, and the second that you hit finalize, it generates a mirror receivable in QuickBooks. You'll have already done mapping when we do setup with you ahead of time. So it's going to log revenue to the appropriate places depending on how that invoice breaks down as far as professional services versus maybe revenue from subconsultant work versus reimbursables and things like that.
Yeah.
When you receive payment, your accountant's going to receive payment, or if you're the sole proprietor, you put on your accountant hat, you receive
Yeah.
payment into QuickBooks, and then we real-time update the paid information in Factor. So you can use the two independently. You can use, QuickBooks Desktop. We don't integrate directly with. You can use whatever accounting system you want, and in the future, we'll probably build bridges to several others. Um, but we can eliminate basically all that double entry of invoices from Factor into QuickBooks, and even updating paid information. We also do the same thing with expenses. So if you enter expenses that are not reimbursable, so not something somebody would enter in their time card in Factor, but a subconsultant invoice or a printing expense, something like that, and maybe the accountant or the office manager that's coming across their desk and they're putting it straight into QuickBooks, we can also pull those real time to the projects in Factor, so that then when it comes time to invoice, you can once again see, where am I at in this contract with my
Yeah.
sub? How much have they submitted for payment? How much have I actually billed so far? We can do a lot of cool things with pay when pay reporting as well, where you just go to the contract for that project. You say, how much have I invoiced for this sub? How much has actually gotten paid on those invoices? What are they asking to get paid? Should I cut the check or not?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And so, as you're out there listening to this, first of all, my first question is, do you need to simplify your accounting and project management processes? And I'm going to go ahead and answer for you. Yeah, you do. You need to simplify. So this sounds like a really, really good tool for you to check out. And then obviously you can tell from listening to the way that C Ray is explaining how all of this works, is this was built for you, right? This was built. Everything he's talking about is in from your environment, right? This is built for the way that you do business. So this is exciting to me. I love hearing about this. I'm looking forward to learning more. Um, as we think towards next week, which
Yeah.
again, this time next week, we're full swing into this conference down in Austin. First of all, before I get too ahead of myself, if you want to learn more about Factor, go to factorapp.com. The URL is in the bottom left corner of your screen right now. So you can go there. There's links to everything. What else can they find there on the website? Is that a place that they can connect with you directly?
Yeah, actually, you can request a demo. You might not get me. You might be at one of the other folks on our specialist team. But you can request a demo. You're going to get a live, we'll set up a quick conversation. We're always going to ask you a few questions about you first, not to make it easier to sell you, but because we like to tailor those demos to the way you're doing business. So don't be surprised if you sign up for that. We ask you a couple questions about, how do you use subs? Do you bill most of your work fixed fee or hourly? Do you include the subs in those fixed fees? Because we can basically offer up examples that look like the way you do business.
Yeah, that's great.
Honestly, our preference is even to have you send us a couple example fee breakdowns ahead of time, and we'll mock those up for the demo so that you can see what a real life example, a project your firm is working or has worked or will be working, would look like in the system.
Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. So go to factorapp.com if you need to bring some simplicity into your project management and accounting
I'll be
procedures.
uh, I'll be busted by our marketing manager if I don't say this also, but I should also mention you can just sign up for a 30-day free trial as well. So you can use Factor, no credit card and all that. You just sign up. You can add other users. You can set up your own projects there. But again, we're happy to also jump in after you've created that trial and walk you through how to do some of those things. There's training videos and all of that. But sometimes asking somebody, how would you handle this scenario, and
Yeah.
throw us your most complicated projects. That's the stuff we love working through. We see a lot of examples from a lot of different firms, so I love seeing the ones that kind of make me scratch my head and find a new way to deal with it in Factor. Because yeah, it's pretty amazing what we can handle.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and it's good that we made marketing happy now. So we're we're all about staying out of trouble here.
Yeah.
So that's good. Factorapp.com is first stop in checking this out. Um, as we think about next week, maybe a baby step before we get there, eh, understanding that we've been talking about, streamlining these processes and in the different ways that people manage their projects and um, break down their fees and everything. What's a piece of advice that you have for an entrepreneur architect that wants to build a better business?
Uh, find out what you can do less of. I think it's a
Mm,
trap that the way our minds work, and sometimes we're as entrepreneurs, we tend to be gutsy folks. I've worked in startup businesses and helped grow those since before I was with Factor and was with the company that originally built it. And uh, because of that, you can get in a mindset where you're always convinced you should be doing more. And
yeah,
going to a conference, uh, there's so many great ideas. You're going to hear amazing ideas from speakers. You're going to have great conversations with people.
yeah,
You're going to leave at the end of the day thinking, I wonder how that would apply, and come up with three more things they didn't say that you could do different in your business. I think it's also worth pausing and saying, is there anything I'm hearing that tells me I could stop doing something I'm doing? Because it's easy, I think, to get caught up. Our minds get caught in this trap that just assumes we should do more. We're doing everything we're doing. Plus, I now have to take into account all these new ideas and these new suggestions my brain is coming up with based on the information I'm hearing. Try to figure out at least one thing from each session that you're already doing, you could maybe stop doing or do less of. And that way you'll buy yourself some of the bandwidth for the other great ideas.
I love that. I mean, that's a great piece of advice. A little bit counterintuitive. I think it's fantastic. And you mentioned being at the conference and coming up with sort of doing the takeaways, and I wonder how this would apply. One of the great things about this conference is that, or two of the things I think. One is that many many of the speakers and our partners, our sponsors in this event, are going to be there for the duration of the conference, so you'll have the opportunity not only to hear something from the stage, but also to say, hey, can we go grab coffee? Or hey, you want to join us for dinner, for drinks, or whatever? And I was interviewing Randy Wilburn, I think about a week ago. Friday, he's going to be one of the speakers, and he said you'll have hang time. You'll have hang time with C. Ray Harvey. You'll have hang time with other people. So when that comes to mind, go, oh, I wonder if I could do this. He'll be there, right? The guy will be there. He can answer your question, or at least find the answer to your question if you've got a real stumper for him. So I think that's one of the great things about this conference. And it's also going to be an immersive event where you don't have to choose between going to listen to Randy or Joyce or Megan, who are all at the same time. Nope. Randy, Joyce, Megan, they're all at different times. It's a single track conference where we get to immerse ourselves in every single one of these sponsors and every single one of these speakers, and then have the hang time and all the activities that we're doing all of this together. So you don't have to make a choice. You don't have to say what's the lesser of two evils or the better choice here. Nope, we're all immersed in all of it. So I think those are some great things about the way this conference is structured. So um, I've spent the last 25 minutes or so talking with C. Ray Harvey, and this has been a great conversation. I'm looking forward to learning more about Factor. C. Ray is a product specialist at Factor AE and a partner in the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting, which again, it's coming up really fast. I'm starting to think of all the things I haven't thought of yet. So we're going to be in Austin, Texas next week, November 1st through 3rd. So opening reception Tuesday evening, and then all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. So go to smallfirmconference.com for more information. All the speakers, all the sponsors, the venue, the schedule, all of that is there. Register to join us. It's going to be a fantastic conference. Again, it's the first ever live conference. It's dedicated just to you, just to small firm entrepreneur architects. So if you want to learn to build a better business, to improve your business, and that allows you to practice in the way that you want to do it, this is the conference for you. Or if you're the employee of a firm right now, but you aspire to start your own and do it your own way, go over to smallfirmconference.com for more information on that. And again, check out Factor AE is at factorapp.com. Do everything that C. Ray was just talking about. Sign up for the demo, sign up for the free 30-day. All of those things are available to you there, and that's a great first step. And then come to Austin and spend some time with C. Ray and the rest of us. We're all going to be there. So check it all out. It's going to be a great time. I promise you're not going to be disappointed. You're not going to be disappointed. Great speakers, great sponsors, great venue, by the way. And if you've never been to Austin before, I judge it as the best smelling downtown in the country because there's an awful lot of mesquite smoke in the air when the barbecues fire up. So just saying, it's going to be a good time. Uh, C. Ray, thanks again for joining me today here. But more importantly, thank you for helping us make this a reality. Thanks for partnering with us and helping us pull off the EntreArchitect Community Annual Meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. And yeah, we'll see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for everybody out there, either live now or in the future, my encouragement, as always, is please be well, stay safe, keep those around you safe and well. Find a little bit of time to breathe and relax. I love C. Ray's advice. Figure out what you can do less of. That'll help you rejuvenate. We do these kind of conversations every day, so you've got to pace yourself. Thanks for going along this journey. Thanks for joining us today. And we'll see you in Austin in just under a week now. Thanks, C. Ray. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.